All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're tackling something that literally affects almost every single pet owner out there, but somehow goes completely under the radar. You feed your dog, you take them on walks, you give them belly rubs, and you obviously love them. But what if I told you that some of your everyday, totally well-intentioned habits might actually be making your best friend emotionally distressed? It's wild, right? Today, we're unpacking some truly fascinating insights about 5 hidden things that are making your dog sad. And honestly, the craziest part about this source material is that these aren't glaringly obvious mistakes. They're just everyday things that seem perfectly normal to us humans, but in your dog's mind, they have a profoundly different impact. So I really want you to ask yourself, and be super honest here, are you absolutely sure your dog is genuinely happy? Or do you just kind of think they are? Because contrary to popular belief, dogs absolutely experience frustration, insecurity, and feeling disconnected. But here's the catch. They don't show it the way we do. They can't exactly sit you down on the couch and say, hey, we need to talk about my feelings. The line between a dog that's actually happy and a dog that has just entirely given up, well, it can be a lot blurrier than you might think. And that perfectly leads us to what happens when they do give up. When a dog is sad or feeling completely disconnected, they just change. They get quieter, they pull away, they lose that little spark. Now, we really need to rethink what quiet means in canine psychology. As owners, we see our dog laying quietly in the corner and we think, oh, awesome, they're being so calm and well-behaved today. Actually, scratch that. We are totally misinterpreting the symptom. A lot of the time, this quietness isn't a good thing at all. It's a sign of emotional resignation. The dog is literally adapting to distress by distancing themselves. They haven't found peace, they've just completely stopped trying to connect with you. Okay, let's move right into our first major blind spot. Number 1, present but emotionally absent. So this is something pretty much all of us are guilty of, right? We kind of assume that just being in the same room as our dog counts as spending time with them. But there is a massive, absolutely crucial difference between physical presence and emotional presence. Picture this. You're sitting right there on the couch, but you're completely glued to your phone, binge watching a show, or typing away for work. Your dog trots over, tries to get your attention, maybe nudges your hand, and they just get a blank stare. Or worse, nothing at all. To us, we're just multitasking, but to the dog, we are entirely emotionally absent. Because here's the really important takeaway. Dogs measure affection by quality, not quantity. They 100% know when you are truly present with them, and they feel it deep down when you're just phoning it in. And when your dog is constantly ignored, they don't throw a fit. They just start pulling away. They get less animated. And again, we tragically write this off as them just being calm. Think about how many times your dog might have been waiting for just a tiny sliver of a connection, and you were just too busy to even notice. Consistently missing those little attempts is honestly one of the quietest, most heartbreaking ways to make a dog sad. Which brings us to our second big mistake. Number 2, the need for routine. Imagine your day is just a totally random grab bag of events. Maybe you get a walk at 8 a.m. today, but tomorrow it's at noon. Dinner happens at 6 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. As humans, we usually roll with the punches pretty well, right? We even like it. We call it flexibility or being spontaneous. But for a dog, a day full of unpredictable events is literally terrifying. It's pure chaos to them. When things happen randomly, they have zero clue what to expect next. And that constant uncertainty breeds this deep, silent anxiety. What looks like freedom to us feels incredibly confusing and stressful to them. So to fix this, we really need to focus on predictability. For dogs, routine isn't just about keeping a neat calendar, it is the absolute bedrock of their emotional security. We're talking scheduled meals, consistent walk times, a regular sleep schedule, and planned one-on-one time. These things give your dog a sense of control over their world. If you take that away, your dog can become super needy, restless, or just completely apathetic. Predictability is basically how you tell your dog, hey, you are safe here. All right, moving on to our third mistake, number 3, correction without connection. This one is a huge trap, especially for owners who really think they're doing a fantastic job training their pups. But there is a world of difference between actually teaching your dog and just blocking their behavior. Sure, correcting them is part of raising a dog, absolutely. But when you do it without balance, without rewarding the good stuff, and most importantly, without a strong bond, it totally backfires. See, dogs don't process a correction the same way we do. If they're constantly getting told no and rarely getting praised, they don't think, oh, I see, I'm learning the house rules. Nope. They just start feeling like there's something fundamentally wrong with them. They stop trying to be good, and they just start avoiding things because they're terrified of getting in trouble. The source puts this so perfectly. It doesn't build behavior, it builds insecurity. Wow. That is such a huge takeaway. When you're constantly correcting your dog, but you aren't actively building a deep connection with them, that goofy, curious, spontaneous dog you fell in love with just fades away. They stop exploring. They walk on eggshells. And the owner is sitting there thinking, wow, my training is working perfectly. My dog is so obedient. No, unfortunately, your dog has just become deeply insecure. Too much correction basically crushes their spirit. Let's jump into our next section. Number 4, boredom and mixed signals. I absolutely love the way the source phrases this. A dog without stimulation simply adapts to the void. This is so much bigger than just taking them for a quick walk around the block. A dog's brain needs to work. They have this desperate need to think, to explore, to sniff every blade of grass, and to figure things out. If their entire life is just eating, sleeping, and doing the exact same lap around the neighborhood every single day, their brain turns to mush. It's intense monotony. And if they aren't chewing up your favorite shoes or barking at the mailman, we just assume everything is peachy. But a mentally stimulated dog is curious. Without that, the sadness doesn't look like acting out. It just looks like silence. They literally just adapt to the void. And you know what makes that boredom even worse? Mixed signals. Think about it. One day you let them up on the couch to cuddle, and the very next day you're yelling at them to get down. Or your tone of voice is super sweet one minute and completely harsh the next. How does the dog interpret that? Utter confusion and total emotional instability. Living in a house where the rules change depending on your mood doesn't teach a dog anything. It just leaves them constantly doubting themselves, completely hesitant, and avoiding you so they don't accidentally do the wrong thing. Okay, so how do we actually fix all of this? That brings us to section 5, building a true bond. Fixing these little daily mistakes all comes down to creating small, genuine moments of connection every single day. The source gives us 4 really actionable steps here. First off, put the phone away. Seriously, just for a few minutes, give them your absolute undivided attention. Second, engage in attentive petting. When you pet them, really be there in the moment. Third, when you're out on walks, let them explore. Let them sniff that tree for way too long. Engage their brain. Don't just power walk them for your own exercise. And finally, truly enter their world. Get down on the floor and play with them on their level. You don't have to do this for hours on end. It's all about the high quality of those few focused minutes. That is what reinforces their security and builds ultimate trust. It's a real game changer. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Look at your dog today and really ask yourself, does your dog experience true, meaningful connection with you, or are they just existing inside a routine? They definitely don't need you to be perfect, but they absolutely need your genuine presence. By just tweaking a few of these hidden habits, you can bring back their confidence, their endless curiosity, and their joy. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Now, seriously, go put your phone down and spend some quality time with your dog.